Now that I have spiritual eyes that see more, yeah, we're brought up and we're told, the Israelites were saved and God brought them out of Egypt, and so he demonstrated his power and might. And maybe we're taught, well, that was the reason for them to be put into servitude and need to escape. No. Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery. When they sold him into slavery, they sold all of his offspring into slavery with him. And so he still had the heart to rescue his brothers from the famine. However, what they wished on him had to befall them. And out of the experience, maybe, just maybe, their offspring would not engage in abusive slavery and be more inclined to help a brother without asking anything in return. So, of course, we don't know, throughout histories which ones still took on slaves and such took on land, took it away from their brothers until the year of Jubilee. Even longer if they could get away with it. We know the ways of corruption. We know of killings and taking of other people's wives so that the taking of property can happen. But if we look, maybe we ourselves can learn from it. All scripture is inspired of God to be shared for teaching and instructing. And if we're not idealizing and idolizing these people of God from the past, maybe we aren't having to put on false pretenses so much. Maybe we don't have to be so hard on ourselves, become self-righteous instead of admitting, oops, I had the wrong perspective in that. But it's just interesting how we can go back with new eyes, with an expanded understanding and perception of God's law. How things come back at us, come upon us, especially through the generations. In America, we live in a society that criminalizes parents who don't pay child support. Deadbeat dad, deadbeat mom, blah, 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 blah. Number one, you decide to have sex with that person. You are responsible for the consequences of those choices. There's nothing wrong with the community helping a child orphaned by parents' poor judgment. Divorce from proper relationship. Not judging them. There's nothing wrong with that. By condemning another human being as a criminal, you make their children of criminals. When we tell children, your parent was a loser, they're like, I was born of a loser, I can't be anything but a loser. You demonize a woman, and her daughters hate themselves. They identify with that. Because when we're infants, we don't separate ourselves from our parents, especially our mothers. Especially if these children are breastfed. It's like part of a growth process. No, I'm not a part of you. You are your own individual being. This is my body, that's your body. Like, it's part of the individuation process. So I'm just getting more out of experiences than mainstream guidance would give. They weren't put into slavery just so God could prove his power and might over these other gods. It was an eye for an eye. It's what they wished upon their brother. And so that's what came upon them. And then their descendants were released from that and given an opportunity to prove that they're different and that they can be different. And to fulfill his promise to their ancestors that nations of righteous people would be born out of them. So, going deeper, getting more